DC is such an amazing city, and it has so many amazing poets. It's almost comical how many poets there are in DC that like do amazing things around the globe, but they like live here. And it's not like I'm seeing them at like the Kennedy Center. I'm seeing them at places like Spit That, or I'm seeing them at Bus Boys, and I get to talk to them and build connections with them. In a lot of ways, DC has been like my school for poetry, and each different person in each different place is like a different class. And I don't think I could have gotten that anywhere else. Hi, I'm Kenny. I'm 17 years old. I'm from DC, and I'm the 2017 DC Youth Poet Laureate.
So the DC Youth Poet Laureate program takes 12 finalists. All of the 5 celebrity poet judges chooses one poet to represent the city of DC for that year. With this title of DC Youth Poet Laureate, there will be a series of scheduled performances and speaking engagements at government events, as well as it has a book tour and a library tour, in which case the DC Youth Poet Laureate will perform at different libraries in the city. And this all sort of culminates in the publishing of a chapbook.
Both my parents are writers, so I've been around writing for a really long time. But I only started writing poetry my freshman year of high school, and then once I got into poetry at my school, I kind of started branching out and doing more things around DC.
Well, we are, I guess, a family of writers. That was an interest of his father's, is also an interest of mine. So we do fun things like go to book readings and go to the library, and writing process is part of what we do in the house. So.
What's up? I'm Kenny, and I'm from Woodrow Wilson.
Mommy, so tired!
So I knew of Kenny through sort of my work with DCU Slim scenes in the area. I've always sort of seen him around, whether it's competing in his Louder Than the Bomb team, or occasionally when I would frequent Spit That. So when we had the final sort of DC Youth Poet Laureate ceremony, I was really, really surprised and excited to see that he was one of the finalists for the program.
My earliest memory of Kenny writing is actually writing a piece of fiction. He was in middle school, I believe just left elementary school. He used to read all the time. He read everything. And he was writing one day. I said, "Are you doing your homework? What are you doing?" He was like, "No, I'm writing this book." It was a science fiction book. He just loved to read and to write. So.
I think at the soul of my poetry, like if my poetry had a soul, it'd be like how Kenny feels at the time. And then, with that comes an understanding of, political situations. It comes like love of anime. It comes, love of people who are people who exist in the world. It comes up in a lot of ways, but I think at the heart of it, it's just like, how do I feel right now? Am I hurt? Am I afraid? Or am I just feeling like happy, like generally happy?
Yeah, I vibe with Kenneth Carroll's poetry, I think because we're sort of both, awkward, nerdy black boys, right? And I don't want to like ascribe anything to his character, but from the poems I've read, I could see sort of a myriad of influences. I see glimmers of like Safia Ohilo and like Omar Homan. I see sort of all these Spit That poets that have influenced me as I grew up in DC, as well as sort of him adding his newer perspective, his newer cadence.
I take the title, very seriously, and what I want to do with it is I don't want to just, kind of sit and do poetry. I want to get out and get around. DC has a lot of poets, I want to be able to reach out to them all. DC has a lot of people who should be writing poetry, and I want to meet them so I can get them into it. And I know I get to write a book with, like, that comes with the title. I want that book to, you know, be a part of DC. As I'm writing some of the poems for it, I'm gonna keep that in mind, that this is a book that I wouldn't have without my city.
Wow. You can hear more of Kenneth Carroll's poems. Keep in contact with wordsmith. You can follow